and welcome to Post-Credit Shit Show. I'm George.
And I'm Laura.
And we're here to talk about movies and potentially shit on them.
Yeah, but I'd say that's pretty fair.
So the first movie we watched for this episode is Disney's The Black Cauldron. Well known for not being great. I had never seen it. You had saw it back when you were but a wee child.
Yes. I had kind of goodish memories of it, but rewatching it really kind of dashed that.
So, The Black Cauldron, for those of you who don't know, it's a Disney film. Came out in July of 1985. But didn't get released onto VHS until 1998.
Which makes sense as to why. I remember having the VHS.
I don't even remember seeing it on VHS.
No. Well, mind you, I grew up in the UK, in Wales.
Fair enough. It's a very Wales tale, as it were.
Yes, I think
was very interesting to hear.
Yes, I think that's why I have such fond memories of it, because having Ilonwi, the female character in The Black Cauldron, obviously being it, kind of like, oh, Ilonwi, that's a very Welsh name. That was a little bit of kind of representation.
Yeah, very interesting. It's also the worst one that Disney's ever put out. What does it say about Wales? Lore, is it that bad?
Wales is a great country. We have the best flag, and don't judge Wales on The Black Cauldron.
So this movie is based off of the first 2 books out of 5 in a series called Chronicles of Pydron by Lloyd Alexander. Did you ever read those? No. Nope.
No. See, when I was growing up, for us, our Welsh tales are in a book called the Mabinogion.
Okay.
So that's where most of.
Is there a tale about a cauldron?
I don't remember one.
And the Horn King?
No, I don't remember one.
Oh, that's disheartening.
It is.
So we'll go over, I guess, the plot of this. Not that there's too much. The fact that it was based off of like the first 2 books out of 5 really feels like it.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
we were saying as we were watching it,
it's like they're rushing through a lot.
Yes. There was that awful sense of a lot happens, but also doesn't happen at the same time. There was a lot of quick resolution. Let's skip over these story beats. Gotta get to the next bit.
So like the plot of the movie, you have I can't remember the freaking kid's name, the annoying little shit.
Oh God, what was his name? Oh no.
So you have
it's that forgetful.
They do refer to him as Pig Boy.
Yes.
In this, the pig farmer. So you have Pig Farmer. You have his pig Henwin.
Yes.
And then there's some old dude who owns the farm.
Yes.
You find out that Henwin, this pig, can foresee the future, or is kind of like a dowsing rod of sorts, can find things. Prophecy pig.
Yeah, prophecy pig.
That's actually the best way to put it.
Yeah. That's gonna bug me now. What the frig was his name?
The thing is, like, throughout the movie, you hear them refer to him as the pig farmer or the pig boy, so it's like you don't remember what his name is.
No.
So he's told by the old guy to take Henwin to someplace north or something like that.
Yeah.
To hide this pig, because the Horned King, who is looking for the Black Cauldron, wants the pig because the pig will be able to find it for him.
Yes. Yeah.
Of course, Pig Boy is stupid and arrogant, and he wants to be an adventurer, but he's also a coward, and loses the pig, and the pig is immediately caught by like flying beasts and taken to the castle.
Yes. Yeah, but that feels like it happens within the first 15 minutes. You find out that he's not satisfied with his life. He wants to be this big adventurer. Oh, prophecy pig. Okay, go and hide out in this cabin in the north of the woods. Don't come back. I'll come for you when it's safe. In the meantime, only giving him 1 apple and like 3 slices of bread, like
for a whole journey.
Yeah, for a whole journey. Like that doesn't seem like enough. Like, is the kitchen fully stocked in that other cabin? Like,
we'll find. We would never find out.
We will never know. He never made
Perhaps
it.
in the 3rd book.
Oh, in the 3rd book.
It is interesting that this is a book series and like the Horn King's defeated in the first 2.
They must have rushed that, surely.
There's a lot of questions. Like, who's the ultimate villain if not the Horn King?
Yeah. Because, I like, part of me wants to find that book series just to figure out how rushed through was the actual film. And, like you said,
the other part of me is like, do I really want to read these?
Exactly. Like, if I was that kind of bored stiff watching the film, am I going to have the strength to go through?
It's one of those things where you're wondering, like, is this a case of where it's like the Horn King is like a Voldemort and you just get like the first and the last book kind of thing? Or is it like, you know, the Horn King is just like one of the many lackeys that Voldemort had, and it's like, that's a good enough resolution.
Yeah.
So the pig boy meets we can't even remember what this thing's name was. It's like this little fluffy white thing that's basically like a golem for the series.
Yeah, with the voice of Stitch.
Yeah, the voice of Stitch, kind of a bit of a golem, and just wants food.
Yes.
And friends.
Crunchies and munchies.
Crunchies and munchies.
After his apple.
Something that we both noticed, like everyone else's lines in this are pretty crisp as far as the recording, but for some reason this thing's voices sound like it's done over a telephone.
Yeah. Like now that you say it like that, like his lines were very muffled.
It's so weird. It's like they recorded his lines like 10 years before everyone else's.
Or like, did he have to get that close to the microphone to like make the voice that he came up with?
Because it's not that distinct of a voice. It's just like, you know, crunchies and munchies. Like it's you know, very standard fare. Just very weird and odd. There's a lot of oddities in this movie, and we'll kind of get more into that in a bit. But so they journey to the castle of the Horn King to try and get the pig back, and we see like a bunch of like computer imagery skies.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh god, those look real bad against like the hand-drawn animation.
Yeah, like I'm sure
it looked like bad green screen effects.
Yes, like I'm sure at the time it was like super awesome to see computer generated imagery with the animation successfully blended together in 85, you said?
85.
Yeah, so I'm sure it was amazing for that time. But like like rewatching it, I don't remember that feeling of, oh, that looks weird.
But you're a kid back then. You're not thinking like that.
No.
So he goes to the castle. He gets captured. He gets the pig out, like throws the pig into the moat so it escapes, and then he gets thrown in a dungeon. And then we meet the princess.
Yes.
Whose name also is
Elanwi.
Elanwi.
That was Elanwi.
Thank you. Who helps him escape, and they also meet with the old bard.
Yes.
Whose name escapes me. I don't know if you remember his.
Frame. No, I don't remember. But the interesting kind of thing with meeting Elanwi was more of, she kind of finds the pig boy, and she's like, well, you can come along if you want to. There was that, you know, she was very much a strong.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Character.
But
one of the few to be like, well, you can come along. Like, I'm gonna get out if you're not gonna come.
It should be also noted that like this is 85. This is around the time like when a lot more female characters weren't just like very one note. You know, The Great Mouse Detective came out shortly after this movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, and this is also just before the Great Disney Renaissance, where we got like Little Mermaid and all that.
Yeah, Great Mouse Detective.
Do you not like that?
No. Well, yeah, yes and no. Okay.
Save it. We'll watch that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, kind of a side.
I like that movie.
I kind of like it too, but it freaked me out as a kid. The bat creature. Fidget.
Fidget, yeah.
Fuck, I had a nightmare about him once, and okay. Yeah,
we'll get to that.
we'll have to watch that, but. Ooh.
Could be the second movie.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Double Disney feature.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the whole party gets together. They escape the castle.
Yes.
By the skin of their teeth. They get a magic sword.
Yes.
Out of it. And then we immediately cut from them being in the castle escaping to them being somewhere in the forest having an argument that just seems very unprompted.
Yes.
And then is quickly resolved as soon as it happens.
Yeah.
And this becomes like a huge like underlying theme, like a lot of the stuff in this movie where it's just like it happens and it was resolved like literally a moment later.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's the whole they get
The fairies?
sucked down the
They meet Crunchy
The, like,
Munchy.
Yes, Crunchy Munchy.
And they go to this like moat with the sinking stones.
Yes.
They find like fairy world underneath.
Yep.
And the fairies there take them to where the Black Cauldron is.
Yes. Where we meet the three
Witches.
three witches, three oracles, whatever you want to call them.
And they trade the magic sword for the cauldron. Mm-hmm. And they find out in order to destroy the cauldron, you have to sacrifice yourself.
Willingly sacrifice yourself.
Sacrifice.
And know that you're not going to come back, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Horn King comes, his lackeys come, they take the cauldron. Of course they do.
Yeah.
And
that whole, oh, you led me to it.
Yeah. Horn King sacrifices... No, he doesn't sacrifice anyone. No. What does he do to it that activates it? Oh, doesn't he?
See, it's so forgettable.
It is. He must have sacrificed one of his lackeys or something stupid like that.
I don't remember now. That just speaks to the whole fucking thing. Like, that I don't remember.
Did Munchy Crunchy fall in? Did he sacrifice the little creature?
No, because the little creature sacrifice stopped the cauldron from working. Because remember,
Yes.
the Horn King got his army, his skeleton army, to rise up, because that was the whole point of the cauldron. Was that if you got the cauldron working, you brought your skeleton minions back to life, and that's how he created an undead, unbeatable army unless someone goes into the cauldron.
Yeah.
So we get the army kind of going, and then Crunchy Munchy
goes in there, defeats it. This, like, that sequence, that small sequence where it's like he activates it and then it's defeated, happens like within 5 minutes, I think.
I felt like
it's so quick.
Yeah.
Like, this movie's like, I think 90 minutes long.
Yeah, it was surprisingly short.
It both feels short and long at the same time.
Yeah.
There's moments where it's like, this is dragging on a tad bit, and there's moments like, okay, we're solving that problem.
Yeah, it's one of those, not a lot happens, but too much happens.
Horn King's defeated. The witches grant them a wish for some the Black Cauldron to bring back Munchy Crunchy.
Yes.
And then everything's happy.
Yeah, that's it.
The movie's just
pig
this
farmer
weird
and a long
bullet
weed.
point of things that happen.
Yeah. Yeah, that, like, first $2, yay.
And it's so forgettable. It probably shouldn't surprise you that if I wrote some here, I might in the back. No, I didn't. There was not that many notes. The reviews. Where's the reviews? Where did I write?
I think it was received pretty crappily, wasn't it?
Reviews were mixed to negative. A lot of them commenting on the darker themes and its disjointed story.
That doesn't surprise me.
Which does not surprise anyone.
No. And I feel like I remember saying to you, like, I remember being a lot more scared of the Horn King.
It should be noted, the Horn King, voiced by John Hurts.
Yes.
Probably the best thing in this whole movie.
Yeah. John Hurt was an amazing actor. He passed a few years ago, no?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it was fairly within the last 5, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I remember him passing shortly after Alan Rickman and thinking, oh shit, that's Snape, that's Vernon Dursley, that's like a lot of Harry Potter actors.
Well, because J.K. Rowling is cursed, that's why. There's more than just one cursed child. What else do I want? We should mention about this. Okay, so the biggest thing. So this movie's budget was $44 million.
That seems like a lot.
Only grossed about $21.3 million box office. Was not successful.
No.
It should not surprise you, for at the time in 1985, this was the most expensive animated movie ever made.
Yeah, that doesn't. But what did they spend it on? Like the book rights? Like that's
Maybe the book rights.
the computer generated stuff. Maybe.
Maybe that. But, I mean, hand drawn animation does cost them a lot. This is something I have to check out because I was mentioning to you I did some extra research last night before coming here. Prior to this movie, the most expensive thing Disney did was Sleeping Beauty, which only where did I put it? $6 million was how much Sleeping Beauty cost back in '59, and that was the most expensive thing beforehand.
Whoa, that's such a disparity. What the hell happened?
It also should be noted that a lot was cut from this movie.
Yeah.
Because obviously Disney was worried about it being too dark, and apparently it was still too dark.
Yeah.
Especially during its climax and its ending, there's a lot cut.
Yeah,
Which doesn't surprise me. Skeleton Army, kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Kind of unfortunate. I would love to see like an original cut.
Yes. Yeah, I'd like to. Because I feel like that there would have been a lot more to Munchy Crunchy's sacrifice.
Yeah.
If
there's a bit more action that happened.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like everything just resolves very quickly.
Yeah, and even you don't get to know much about Alon Wee's light fairy friend thing.
Yeah.
It turns up to light her way when she meets Pig Boy and chases away the rats.
Yeah.
And then it comes back for something to help, and then you don't really see it again.
Well, we were also mentioning that, like, Princess Alonre, she might not be a princess. It's left very ambiguous.
Yeah. Because she mentions herself that she's like, I'm here because I was a princess and the Horn King needed me for something and then locked me up.
But the Horn King mentions her being like a maid or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you don't get too much detail about it.
No, it was very much like a backhanded comment, like, I've captured the pig farmer and the useless bard that can't sing, and then the scullery maid. So was she ever really a princess?
Kind of just going back on the budget. So to this day, the most expensive animated film, if you count it, it's the 2019 Lion King movie remake.
Yeah.
But also Tangled.
Okay. Yeah.
Take a wild guess how much those cost without looking at my notes.
No, I can't. I don't have my glasses on. Oh Christ. 30 million?
Oh, sweet child. 260 million for both those movies. So obviously things have definitely grown.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't even find it on the list of expensive. It's been pushed down that far. It should be also noted that 10 years later with Lion King, the original 1993 one, was 45 million.
Oh.
So, bit of a trend, I suppose. It did go up from there, but it is interesting to note.
But then the Lion King had good music with Elton John.
Yes.
Whereas the Black Cauldron had no musical numbers in it.
We were mentioning, there's no musical numbers. This is actually the first Disney film to not have any musical numbers in it.
Yeah.
Apparently. But it does feel like there were moments where they were meant to have some. Where it's like, I could easily picture something being here.
Especially like the fairy sequence.
Yes. The fairy sequence, the opening where he's just like, I want to be an adventurer. And he's like messing around in the pig pen.
Yeah. But that just feels like what you'd insert there is that musical number from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Where he's singing it like singing about wanting to leave the castle. And like, no, stop that.
The movie was directed by Ted Berman and Richard Rich, who previously worked on The Fox and the Hound in 1981. Don't know if you even remember that movie.
Oh no, I do. the emotional scars. I think that was one of the earlier.
That makes it even weird because that isn't a bad movie either.
No, that one is pretty good.
Originally, the character designs apparently, according to my research, were done by Tim Burton.
No way.
But they were thrown out because they wanted the characters to be designed a little closer to something like Sleeping Beauty, which we had mentioned.
Yeah.
That kind of looks like Sleeping Beauty a little bit.
Yeah.
And to that point, they had the person who designed characters for Sleeping Beauty to come out of retirement to do character designs for this movie.
Oh, shit.
Uh,
Mind you, I feel like this is one of the projects where Tim Burton was like starting to feel like, fuck Disney, like.
well,
because it was 93 that he worked on Nightmare Before Christmas, and he's always
worked.
Yeah, well, he's always said that it was kind of fueled by what's the word I'm looking for?
What are you looking for?
Like, no, not quite disdain for how he was treated at Disney, but you know, he was kind of miffed about.
Well, that might coincide with a lot of that then.
Yeah, like, oh, here's my characters design. No, it's okay, we're cool. We'll just get somebody from retirement. Fuck that.
And it should be no surprise that this movie, with its making less than half back its budget, nearly ruined Disney's animation department.
Yeah, that would do her.
A lot of people who were working on the Black Cauldron are actually moved from that to work on The Great Mouse Detective.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that did so much better, no?
Yes. Probably. I haven't done the research on that.
Yeah, we'll have to.
I'll be disheartened if I find out otherwise.
Yeah. So that was 85, like, because The Little Mermaid was 89.
Mm-hmm.
And Beauty and the Beast was 91.
Mouse Detective, I think, was before Little Mermaid.
Yeah, it must have been. Because it still had Vincent Price in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he passed away early 90s.
Maybe?
Because it was... Because the last thing he worked on would have been Edward Scissorhands. And I'm sure that came out... like
Edward Scissorhands was the 90s, I think.
Yeah, very early 90s.
So... do I dare ask, would you recommend The Black Cauldron? It's very interesting that as bad as The Black Cauldron is, Disney kind of still has references to it.
Yes.
I had mentioned to you, like, in its parks, they at one point had a restaurant called the Crunchy Munchies for a few years.
Yes.
In Tokyo Disneyland, they have an actual attraction that features the Horn King.
Yeah, like, he's certainly one of the more memorable villains.
Yes, and actually more recently, the board game Villainous that we like,
yes,
the newest expansion has the Horn King.
Yeah.
Which I'm very interested in grabbing that.
Yeah, I want to see how he plays, but it's definitely one of those movies where I remember bits and pieces, but certainly wouldn't recommend it.
I think the worst thing about it's not that it's bad, it's just boring.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I think, which is obviously worse than bad.
Yeah.
Because obviously, like, a lot of people talk about how bad this movie is. It's not bad, it's just boring.
Yeah.
It looks nice in a lot of places. The voice acting is, good to serviceable. But it's just very boring.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be interested in kind of seeing what the source material would have been like. But then, at the same time, it's, well, not really. Like, I'm not that interested enough that I want to spend money on these books.
I would love, because Disney is right now going through, like, we gotta remake everything to live action. This is the movie they should be remaking, I think, would work the best into live action.
Well, who would you have as Pig Boy? Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt is Pig Boy.
Chris Pratt is everyone. God, I don't know. Some new up-and-coming young actor that Disney has. I don't know.
Tom Holland?
Sure. Tom Holland can be Pig Boy. Chris Pratt can be the old guy that, gets left behind. Chris Pratt can voice Munchie Crunchy.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what he's doing. He's voicing everyone.
There you go. He's already Mario not doing an Italian accent. So
he's Garfield not doing a cat accent.
There you go. Let's do Munchie Crunchy not doing...
Just Chris Pratt's voice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Munchie Crunchy. Laura, we have a sponsor for this episode.
A sponsor?
This episode of the podcast is sponsored by Grammarly. You know who Grammarly is?
No, I do not know
really?
Grammarly, yeah.
Whether it's writing a script at 3 a.m. or impressing the grammar Nazi in your life, Grammarly has you covered. Grammarly will improve your writing with an advanced spell check for any mistakes you have made. It will also aid you with run-on sentences with commas and semicolons and colons and hyphens and etc. With Grammarly, you'll be able to end your... That is everything they wrote for us. Thank you, Grammarly, for sponsoring this episode of the podcast. Okay. Just as a little warning, if we sound a little different, it's not because it's been 2 months since we last recorded.
No.
It's maybe a new mic, maybe something else. Definitely not,
Not
2
time.
months.
Not time has passed.
No, definitely not.
I think I might be even wearing the same clothes that I was in last.
Maybe.
When we recorded.
Yeah, maybe. So the second movie we watched was The Great Mouse Detective.
Yes.
So this is kind of interesting because originally we were going to watch The Secret of Nim.
Yes. Yes.
But we couldn't find a copy of it anywhere.
No.
We couldn't find it anywhere on streaming.
No.
Without having to pay like $5 or some bullshit like that.
Yeah, I think we could have rented it from Amazon, but I'm not.
Yeah, no.
I'm not 100%.
Screw that. So then we were originally going to, after that, you suggested something Camelot or something, Quest of Camelot or something like that.
That's right, some sort of...
Couldn't find that one either.
Nope.
So we just randomly settled on The Great Mouse Detective, which, funny enough, is the movie that came out after The Black Cauldron.
Was it really?
Yes.
Oh, because I almost suggested doing Sword in the Stone.
That would have been another good one.
Yeah, kind of tie it all together.
So yeah, as we had mentioned in the previous chat with this, Black Cauldron came out in 1985. Great Mouse Detective came out a year later.
Oh. So they spent that whole year on Great Mouse Detective?
Some interesting stuff about that.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Great Mouse Detective came out July of 1986. The budget was $14 million, a significant decrease from the Black Cauldrons, which, I mean, you obviously remember because we talked about it,
like 10 minutes
10
ago.
minutes
Sure.
ago. But yeah, it was $44 million. So about 30 million
less.
difference.
Yeah.
Its box office gross was 50.7 million
So that made
worldwide.
Its budget. That's good.
Yeah, it made back the budget from both movies.
It would have had to.
Great Mouse Detective, directed by, oh geez, my handwriting's so bad because the pen was probably
Barry Mattinson?
I don't think that's a Barry, that's a U. So it's like Bernie Mattinson, David Mitcher, John Musker, and Ron Clemens, who would they later go working on things like Little Mermaid and the Aladdin.
And we must specify the original Aladdin.
Yes, 1992.
Not the not so good live adaptation.
They went from working on Mouse Detective, The Little Mermaid, and then like years later they did the live action Aladdin with Will Smith. That
would be such a disappointing career path. I mean, Will Smith was okay as the genie.
So the film was renamed The Adventures. It was renamed The Adventures of the Great Mouse Detective, for a 1992 theatrical re-release, and also in other countries called Basil the Great Mouse Detective. In other countries, especially in Europe.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I remember this as being Basil the Great Mouse Detective.
Yes. Obviously, it's based on a book series called Basil of Baker Street by Eve Titus. No, that's definitely not how you pronounce the last name. Titus?
Can't be Titus, no way.
It can't be Titus either.
No, it might be Titus.
My last name is a Final Fantasy X character.
Where do you think they got the inspiration from?
So we'll get into some of this other behind the scenes stuff, but let's go over the movie quickly.
Yeah.
Flip over to my notes. There they are. So the movie opens up really well.
Yes.
Where it's this toy shop with a toy maker who is voiced by, hold on, where's his name?
Well, first does it not open first with
The toy maker.
No, not the toy maker. Doesn't it first open focused on Watson? And then it zooms in. Oh, okay. So that comes after. Okay, never mind.
It definitely hasn't been a month since we watched the movie either.
Fuck. So yeah, toy maker.
Yeah, so it's the toy maker and the daughter.
Yes.
And he's showing her, a new little toy that he's made for her.
Yes.
And then, like, the Bat character kind of comes in. Fidget.
Fuck Fidget. Hashtag fuck Fidget.
I got the gears. Comes in and kidnaps the toy maker. And then, you get the girl being like, Daddy! Daddy!
Yeah.
And it echoes, and then, like, you just get the great music where it's like, do.
Yeah.
That always is, like, ingrained in me, that fantastic theme song for, like, the opening credits.
It's so good. But then second to that is when...
And then, then we meet Watson. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes, and
it's
it completely misses a lot, like, what happens before we meet Radigan.
Yeah. I do like that, Dr. Watson's talking and it's focused on the human character, but then it zooms in on the mouse underneath.
Who's underneath them, yes.
I thought that was really, really clever.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it should be, like, obviously noted if it's not obvious, but, the Great Master Detective / the Basil book series is obviously heavily inspired by Sherlock Holmes to, like, the nth degree, everything but name.
Basil is Sherlock.
Yeah. Watson's name is Dotson.
Oh, is it? It is Dotson.
It's Dotson, yeah.
Yeah, it hasn't been a month or two.
Definitely don't have written my notes whatsoever.
Maybe I should have rewatched it.
We did rewatch. We watched it a minute ago.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, he has a little inner monologue. That's just like just going to the war or whatever.
Yeah, come back from the war.
And he gets off, and like he finds a little girl, who her name escapes me. I don't think I have her written here either, because like the person who voices her is like a next to nobody.
I don't even have my phone to check. Fuck.
So it meets the little girl, and she's like, I'm looking for Basil of Baker Street to help find my father. So they go meet Basil, and then that's where like the adventure kicks off and everything. We're introduced to Basil, who's just this eccentric, very obviously homage to Sherlock Holmes, but like a much nicer person than Sherlock Holmes by miles.
Yeah.
And we also get introduced to Radigan, probably like one of my favorite Disney villains, and probably one of the most noteworthy things about this movie for most people, just because it's voiced by the great late Vincent Price.
Yeah, I think that's what makes Radigan the best.
Yes.
Like
just
Vincent
Price.
Yeah.
In general. So, yeah, we get introduced to Radigan through his musical number, which is like, I think the only musical number in this. Or no, there's another
Radigan.
one. Yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah, so we get the Radigan, fantastic number that introduces them, and then we get like a rather kind of gruesome thing where like this drunk mouse gets murdered.
Yeah.
And you just see the silhouette, and it's just like, holy shit.
That was allowed in a Disney movie? What? Because this mouse clearly gets eaten. Even if you only see it like silhouette, but like he dead.
Yeah.
He gone. He ain't coming back.
You gotta think too. Remember, like with the Black Cauldron, how like they had to like cut out a lot of things that they thought were too dark, and like a mouse being eaten by a cat, not dark.
Yeah, no.
Murder's not dark. This is then brought into them going to the toy shop, a human toy shop, to look for clues, because they follow the scent using Sherlock's dog.
Yes, the dog.
Toby.
The dog that lives upstairs.
Yes. Toby.
Yeah.
Shit boy. And man, that toy shop is creepy as all hell.
Yeah, that whole
what
sequence
great
is so
imagery. And it's just
terrifying.
It's so weird because the music is like not creepy at all. It's more like, not like adventurous, but like wonderment almost, where it's just like, it's that opening tune where it's like ding 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 ding. It's like, but it's kind of played in a different melody almost.
Yeah. But it's when they start setting things off.
Oh yeah.
The little girl, she twists something, didn't she? And makes it all start, and then they start falling over things, and other things go off, and then
the Bat character is there trying to collect things, and then like
he's collecting
he kidnaps the girl.
He's collecting uniforms from the soldiers.
Got uniforms? Got gears?
Yeah, got kids.
Got hats?
Yeah, no, don't go
Got
there.
that. Got the girl. From there, they do a very Sherlock thing where, like, Basil takes the note that was left there, that
Yes.
Fidget leaves, to deduce the exact location of where his hideout is,
Yes.
Radigan's hideout is, by being like, oh, it's saltwater and, drinking, so it's like, it has to be this one location.
Yeah.
And it's like, I love that. That's just such a Sherlock thing to be like, I understand this from these things.
Yeah, and the very Sherlock thing of, okay, now Dr. Watson and I have got to go undercover and wear costumes and, infiltrate the base, and, Sherlock's donned an accent and all.
And yeah, we get the bar scene, which is, I think, another fairly famous thing, just because of how sexualized the mouse dancer is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She hot.
She's hot. This is like furry bait.
Yeah.
For sure.
Big fur bait.
And then, like, another neat thing, because I love, obviously, The Great Mouse Detective, I've mentioned that, but, like, I've watched quite a bit of Sherlock and read a lot of Sherlock, and, like, a lot of this, especially the bar scene, like, this is, like, kind of pulled directly from Sherlock media.
Yes.
And I think maybe one of the books as well, there's a bit where they go into a bar and they have to, like, pretend to be, like, drugged sailors and stuff like that.
Yeah. So go on then, side note, who is your favourite Sherlock actor?
I'm tempted to say Robbie Downey Jr. because he's the most,
Recent
the one
one?
that keeps in my mind. I'm not going to say Cumberbatch because I don't really care for
yeah.
that series whatsoever.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I always liked Jeremy Brett.
Yeah.
I thought it hit like that in the TV series. That was great.
Mm-hmm.
But I always liked The Hound of the Baskervilles with not Vincent Price. Christopher Lee in it.
Okay,
That
yeah,
was
of course.
another one. That was
I mean, like, it's hard
classic.
not to do a decent Sherlock because, like, as complex as, like, a character as he comes off of, he is a fairly easy character to play as. You just have to, like, act fairly arrogant. You know what? I'm going to change my answer. I like the person who voiced Sherlock in the 21st century. Have you ever seen that cartoon?
No.
It's literally called Sherlock Holmes in the 21st century.
Oh.
Sherlock is, like, resurrected from the dead in, like, the future and has a robotic Watson with them because Dr. Moriarty is, like, some vampire zombie.
Oh shit.
And it's
okay.
so weird and it's fucking insane.
Yeah. And it's funny that you mentioned, it's so easy to play Sherlock. Well, the whole sad sad thing about Jeremy Brett was he was so in tune with Sherlock Holmes that he actually really did develop a heroin addiction
Okay.
because he got so deep into being Sherlock.
Oh, jeez.
That he had a pretty bad heroin addiction. I think that might have been how he died. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, slightly off topic.
That's
but
okay.
Not quite.
It's all about Sherlock.
Yeah.
So, bar fight breaks out rather hilariously. I don't know if I had any notes regarding that. Nope. No real notes.
No.
The bell. I do have that written down. We should have mentioned that before. That Radigan has this bell to call the cat.
Yeah, the tingling.
That's just that's like another really good. It reminds me of, like, in Gravity Falls where, like, Mr. Northwest, Pacifica's father, has the bell and just rings it, and it's like that's some deep shit trauma there. That's what it just reminds me of. I love that. Just like the very sinisterness of it.
Yeah. But we haven't covered why the toy maker was taken.
Oh yeah.
Vatican wants a robotic Queen Victoria made, so that
Queen Mouse.
Yes,
It should be
Queen
specified.
Mouse,
They're not making a human.
No, not a human.
Yeah,
a queen,
that would be crazy.
Queen Mouse.
Because he wants to take over the mousedom,
Yes. Yeah. So,
despite being a rat,
yes.
which he does not like being called.
No.
That's his trigger.
Yeah, that was the trigger and the reason why that one mouse got fed to the cat. But yes, he wants the robotic Queen Mousetoria so that she can come out and say, well, I'm making Ratigan the king consort or something.
Yeah, the consultant.
So
he has, like,
basically-
this whole list of, like, demands, and, like, it's just one of them is like, tax the old and the young.
Yep, and the infirm. It was, like, tax everyone.
But yeah, so, like, that pretty much goes, like, I think the only really other big thing to mention beyond the climax is, like, they get trapped by Ratigan in like
Yes.
a little
Mouse trap.
thing, a mass trap, and it's this big, huge thing. We get the one song by Vincent Price,
Yeah.
Goodbye, so long.
Yeah. Yeah. Sherlock's feeling sorry for himself and like just end it all, and Watson's like, no, come on, Sherlock, figure
It's
it out.
one of those things where it's like, this is why Sherlock needs like a Watson.
Yes.
Because like, he needs someone there to kind of like bring him into reality a little bit from his ego.
Yes.
So yeah, they get out of the elusive trap where it's just like everything. Radigan's just like, I had all these plans and I couldn't think of which one to use, so I used all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They stop the robotic Mouse Queen, and then we get like the really great climax at the clock tower.
Yes, Big Ben.
And
Right at Big Ben.
and they defeat Ratigan, who like turns into like this monstrous rat, and it's a really nice happy ending. Dotson, sticks around to help and shit like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of what you want out of it. It's just a really good movie overall.
Yeah, father reunited with daughter. Oh, there is that. Did we just lose Sherlock? Like, heart stop. But then he
You've had a lot of little thing.
He's got like the back end of some kind of flying machine.
Oh, the
He's
flying
got
machine, yeah.
He's got to pedal really fast and defy the laws of gravity just to
Of everything.
to this. Was it hot air balloon? Mm-hmm. What happened to Fidget? I forget. Did he get
Fidget drops because he can't fly.
That's right. Fidget's got a game
so
wing.
like as the chase is happening before they get to the big men, Fidget's like, oh, we got to lighten the load, to pedal faster, and then Ratigan's just like, oh, you want to lighten the load? And he just tosses Fidget off to the side.
That's right. Fuck Fidget, man.
And yeah, I wrote down here like the movie's only like an hour and 15 minutes, and it goes by really quick. It's nicely paced.
Yes.
Like there's no like slowdown. Like everything just like is perfectly like made together. Whereas like I don't want to continuously compare it to The Black Cauldron, which is a less than great film in comparison, but like the pacing of that was awful.
It really was. That one that dragged on, and do we have a note for how long that movie was? Because that movie was definitely a fuck, this is taking forever to holy shit, that was really quick. What the fuck happened? Like, oh fuck. Like,
I didn't write down how long it is, but like I think it was roughly in the same time span,
Yeah,
like
maybe
about like a
half.
90-minute movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember thinking that. Well, the problem with the Black Cauldron was that I remember it being a better movie than it actually was, revisiting it now. Whereas The Great Mouse Detective, I always felt was great.
Yeah.
And it still is great.
Yes.
And now rewatching it, like, oh, okay.
Nothing has changed. This is perfect.
Yes.
So just going into some of the behind the scenes stuff here. So Eva, the person who wrote the book series, named the character Basil after Basil Rathbone.
Basil Rathbone.
Thank you.
He's a very good Sherlock Holmes.
Who was best known for playing Sherlock Holmes back in the late 30s to the 40s. They used his voice actually in the film for Sherlock.
Oh, really?
So, like, there are, like, little bits where you hear Sherlock Holmes talking, and they just... Because at that time he was dead.
Yeah.
So they just, like, took some, like, old recordings of him from something else and just put it in the film.
Oh, that's why he sounded so friggin' familiar. God damn it.
Oh, I wrote down... I forgot to mention this earlier. This movie, obviously, was rated very positive. 7 out of 10s, 80%, which is good. The idea to do animals take on Sherlock Holmes came about while they were working on The Rescuers.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Which, funny enough, after watching this on Disney Plus, it recommends The Rescuers, which is obviously a film that they have worked on previously as well.
Was The Rescuers like 85 or something?
Early 80s, late 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so this is where some interesting stuff comes in.
Okay.
Because this movie was in production around the time that The Black Cauldron was just finishing up / coming out. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the upset from like the negativity from The Black Cauldron kind of affected the production of The Great Mouse Detective.
No.
So this is what makes The Great Mouse Detective even more fucking interesting to learn about. When Michael Eisner became the new CEO in '84, who I think if anyone like looks into Disney, Michael Eisner is like kind of a bit of a villain, but like near the end of his tenure of CEO for Disney, he did a lot for the theme parks, and he kind of brought about the renaissance that Disney had. So Michael Eisner, when he became the CEO in '84, he cut the original budget for this movie, which was $24 million, down to 14.
Oh wow!
And told the team that they had a year to complete the film. So
that's even more incredible.
Exactly. In '85, following the underperformance of the Paramount film Young Sherlock Holmes, Eisner decided to rename the film from Basil of Baker Street to The Great Mouse Detective because Basil sounded too English.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Like, that's the kind of logic that gets on my nerves.
I was like, I saw that, I'm like, I have to mention that to her.
Yeah.
She's gonna...
It's an English story. Like, you get like, I mean,
in fairness, Basil of Baker Street is very English, but that's almost the point.
Yes.
And I will say, like, The Great Mouse Detective, as decent of a title is, it's a very generic title.
Yeah.
And a lot of the animators thought so too. Animator Ed Gombert disliked the new title, arguing a satirical office memo about the generic title that he gave titles to other Disney movies in the same vein, such as Seven Men Help a Girl.
Snow White.
Yeah.
Fuck.
The Wonderful Elephant Who Could Really Fly.
Dumbo.
The Little Deer Who Grew Up.
Bambi.
Yeah. The Girl with the See-Through Shoes.
Cinderella.
Two Dogs Fall in Love.
Oh, fuck. Lady of the Tramp.
Yeah. Puppies Taken Away.
101 Dalmatians.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
A Boy, a Bear, and a Big Black Cat.
Jungle Book.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
The finale between Basil and Ratigan was actually inspired by the animated film Lupin III, Castle of Calistro, yeah.
Calistro? I don't know.
Which we had watched a few years ago. I don't know if you remember that one. You remember Lupin III, right?
Very vaguely.
Yeah, and there's the whole finale in that where it's in the clock tower.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So they took that sequence in this.
That's why it felt familiar this time around. I'm like, have I seen that before?
And even more interesting, that scene took months to make with CGI, making Disney's first film to use it exclusively.
Yeah, I can see
or
that.
extensively, sorry.
With the whole gears.
So, the whole sequence is I think about 20-30 seconds long. It's not a very lengthy sequence, but it looks so goddamn good.
It's aged very well.
Yeah, which you cannot say a lot about much CGI from
No.
years past.
Well, just look at the CGI from Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
Remember that bit where he looks over and
God,
skybox
so
or whatever
bad.
the hell it was? Because we watched it just a couple minutes ago.
Final note I have here is just the voice cast. Obviously, you have Vincent Price as Ratigan, who I forget why, but we were talking about Vincent Price when he died, which was 93.
Yes.
And you had mentioned what his last movie was that you thought.
It's Edward Scissorhands.
Nope.
Really? I thought that was the last appearance, and that's why they had to kill the inventor off, because
I mean, that might have been part of it. They couldn't do reshoots or something like that.
He couldn't finish because he passed.
But the last thing he's credited for is an animated film that literally no one's probably ever seen, called The Thief and the Cobbler.
Oh.
Which is a very shitty animated film.
Oh.
A very surrealist animated film too.
Oh.
Barry Ingram, who I don't know why I haven't written who he does here. So weird.
Maybe?
Probably Basil. I'm gonna lean on probably Basil. It makes the most sense. More of a theater Broadway person. He appears in Doctor Who, Star Trek, A-Team, Murder, She Wrote, and Matlock. But voices Basil.
He must, right?
Yeah. This is Alan Young as the toy maker.
Yeah, Father Toy
Who,
Maker.
I mean, most people probably know him as Scrooge McDuck.
Yes, yeah.
I don't know anything else he does except for Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah. If you need a Scottish accent,
Yeah.
you go
You go for, you can't go for him now. He's passed.
Oh, did he really?
He passed, early 2010s. I remember like one of the last things he did was actually the DuckTales game that Way Forward made.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was very nice to hear his voice in that. I was like, ah. And then Frank Welker is obviously in this as the dog and the cat. Of course. Of course he is. And I believe that is all the notes I have for this movie. I don't think there's much else to mention. It's just a really overall good movie, and I'm just absolutely happy it's aged. Like, I want to say, like, 5 or so years I watched this movie. Like, when it came out on Blu-ray, I immediately grabbed it and watched it that night.
See, this is probably the first time I've watched this movie since when I was a kid. Because I think I remember last time we were recording for Black Cauldron, I mentioned that nightmare that I had with Fidget. I don't think I got to tell the actual nightmare.
Please do.
So, picture, there is a farmhouse. You can see a green field with sheep in it.
Okay.
But you're focused, like in the foreground, there's a tree.
Okay.
It's daytime, but in the tree, in the branch, is fucking Fidget. And he does this really creepy laugh. His eyes glue red. Then the sheep in the field disappeared, and then there was a scream from the farmhouse. That was the entire nightmare.
What the hell?
Yeah, that was the nightmare, and I could not. That memory is stuck with me, and I couldn't have been, 6 or 7, maybe younger. I don't know. But that nightmare, just forever fuck Fidget because of that. And it's not even that sinister, but just his creepy laugh, the sheep disappear, somebody screams, that's it.
See, I got uniforms, I got the gears, I got the sheep.
And that's the really, like, rewatching this film now, that's the really, I guess, confusing part about Fidget, is that he's so terrifying to me, but he is also used as comic relief as well, that I don't know where I want to put Fidget in my mind. Like, I want to laugh at him when he's funny, I want to cry and like hide my face.
Yeah, this deep-seated trauma.
Yeah, when he's bad, like especially in that toy store scene. Like there's a lot of funny bits, and when he gets dressed up in the uniform, it's kind of funny. And but then when he snatches the girl and takes her away, like it's terrifying.
A little bit, yeah. Well, I can see it at a young age.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny.
So, I mean, this is kind of a redundant question, but you have to ask it. Would you recommend The Great Mouse Detective?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, of course.
Like,
of course.
Forget my own personal trauma, but like it's
this
great.
is something you have to see it.
Yeah,
it's weird too because like I think out of a lot of Disney movies, this is probably one like those like ones that no one really talks about.
Yes,
this is down there with like obviously The Rescuers is a part of that, or like Sword in the Stone, and like a lot of those movies where it's just like, why does no one talk about this? Why is there no Kingdom Hearts world with Basil of Baker Street?
Well, because this was all before that golden age of Disney with the Lion King and
and Little Mermaid and Aladdin and what have you.
Yeah.
So yeah, well,
that's good.
That's good. Any closing thoughts in general? No, I figured as much.
I think that's it.
So with that said, thank you for listening or watching. Subscribe if this eventually does find its way onto podcast platforms, as I always say, which it probably never will. Go check it out on YouTube, because that's where it will be first, because I am lazy and that's how things work.
What is it? Hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell to hear more.
Smash
the bell to get more. To get digglings about stuff that we do.
And I think that's all the closing remark. It's been a while since I had to do this because I forget things. So yeah.
Wait, who is our sponsor?
For this episode, it was it was. Fuck! What was the stupid joke I made?
Was it Grammarly? No.
Yes, it was Grammarly.
Hey, fuck! I got a good memory.
Yeah, because you only have to remember the one I've done with you. I have to remember like the ones I've done with everyone. And the one I just wrote for the one we do with Chris.
Yeah. So this episode was sponsored by Grammarly, because God knows we need it.
Anyways, see ya. ya.
Bye.